Good morning, everyone. This is Jean from True Love Quilts for You. I'm not necessarily doing a tutorial this morning, but I've had a few people actually ask me on my YouTube comments about something I use. This is more of a product review, and in my sewing room. People have come into my sewing room and joined me and seen my room and all of my fabric and my shelving and my books of fabric all over the place, and have asked me how I fold my fabric or what I use to fold my fabric. And I'm sure you quilters know what I'm going to be saying, but for those of you who don't, there's many methods of folding fabric. For years I used what was called the ruler method. You take a 6 by 24 inch ruler, quilting ruler, and you fold your fabric on it. It makes a nice, neat, tidy package. The fold here, 6 inches wide, and you can stack that fabric vertically, yeah, on top of each other. I did that for years on my shelves. I didn't love that method because you'd have to put like the ruler in to pull out your fabric with some of the weight. I didn't love that, although a lot of people like the ruler method. What I use for my fabric here is this. I'm sure, again, as you quilters have seen, these are called comic book boards, and that's exactly what they are. I suppose you could get them at oh yeah, comic book store. I don't know where that is around here, but I got mine on Amazon, and what they are, it's a really nice high quality bit of card. The one side is like matte and the other side is shiny. I don't know why. They're supposedly they are acid free. These boards here are 7 inches by 10.5 inches. You can get them, I think I got a few that were like 8 by 11 or something like that. This is what they are, and this is how they come from Amazon. There's 100 of these in a pack. Now, when I was, if you had been following me, I had reorganized my sewing room about 6 months ago. I pulled all my fabric. I've had this configuration for about 7 years or so, but my shelves were a mess and I couldn't find anything. So I pulled all my fabric, and I started, because I was on a Facebook page, and I started seeing that people were using these, and I did some research, and I thought, that sounds good. So if you start using these, they take up, when you make your packages, they take up a little bit more room on your shelves. But it gave me an opportunity to go through all my stuff. I gave away, I gifted, I tossed, I donated, I sorted out all my fabric that I have. I understand I have a million times more fabric than most people. This is a real investment. We have a rider on our homeowner's insurance policy for all of my things, because as I've said before, I'm a pretty, hardcore seamstress and quilter. So this was an investment. When I started about 6 months ago, I realized I paid about between $8 and $10 a pack for the 100. Well worth it to me. I ended up getting 20 packs, something like that. Ridiculous. Amazon was on speed dial. I mean, it was ridiculous. I just went on Amazon, and I guess quilters are making these more popular because they're between $11 and $13 a pack. And you'll think, oh, 100 boards, oh my word. But like as you're quilting or enjoying the craft, you'll know that you're gonna get 2 yards here, and you have a bag there, and you have a little tote bag over there, and you have a Rubbermaid container down here, and you have a basket of fabric. And all of a sudden, if you're fortunate to have a small corner or a room, or for your craft area, you're like, oh my word, I have a lot of fabric. And the reason I love these is because I wanted to keep track of my fabric, and I wasn't. And I was shopping. I was just going to buy fabric because I didn't know what I had. These, as you can see, I've organized this by genre for the most part. And I love the nice, neat, tidy packages that they make. And also, a lot of people have been asking me how I actually fold my fabric on the boards. So I'm just going to give you a little small demonstration, because it's not rocket science. You're folding a piece of fabric. So here, oh, people say how much, and how do you do it? This is a fat quarter, okay? Now, fat quarters, as you know, in quilting is about 18 by 22 inches. I would not, personally, I wouldn't waste a whole board for one fat quarter. I like the way fat quarters come. They come in a nice, neat, tidy little package. And I have fat quarter storage. If you followed me in I have fat quarter storage all over the place. So I wouldn't waste it. I personally, there's people who put half a yard, 3/4 of a yard on one, which is fine. I don't do that. The smallest amount I would do is about a yard of fabric. I've just pulled this off my shelf. It was already folded, as you can see. About a yard of approximately a yard of fabric. And what I do is either or, like you can have the fold up there or fold here, doesn't really matter. I put the fold nearest me most times, and I just fold it in half, selvage to the fold, not quite to the fold, leave about an inch. And then I take my board, and a lot of people actually insert the board inside. I don't do that either. I just go, sometimes I have to adjust it as I go along, but about 4 inches or so from the end, I place my board, and then I actually just put it on the board like that, and I start nice and taut, but not tight, because you'll bend the board. I feel like I'm in a fabric store. I'm rolling my fabric. It's so nice. I just start rolling my fabric over on my board, and there you go. I have this lovely, nice, neat, tidy package. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, how do you fix the fabric down? I don't. People use pins, perhaps a small a straight pin or a safety pin. They use little alligator clips from an office supply store, or they use a rubber band you can get in bulk. I do none of the above. I'm quite okay with this neat, nice, tidy little package that fits, as you can see, going up and down on my shelves. Now, that's a yard of fabric. I would just like to show you something. What I can do and what I have done. These two here are about 2.5 to 3 yards of fabric. Lovely, nice, neat, tidy little package. This one is 5 yards of fabric there, and this one is about 5 yards of fabric. This is about 4 yards, and this is about 5.5 yards of fabric. So in this right there, this nice, neat, tidy little bundle, there's 5, 10, 15, 20, about 30 yards of fabric right there. But like if you go to the fabric store and they measure out 30 yards, you get this great big honking thing. You know, it's a lot. So this lovely, nice little package, I love my comic book boards. Now, people have said, well, how much can you put on a board? Let me just show you this. Oh, wow. We had a Joann Fabrics 10 minutes down the road that way, and 10 minutes down the road that way. This one was going out of business. And about 2 months ago, the sales weren't all that great, but on, what was it, Wednesday or something, it was the last day of their closing business. 90% off of the bolts. Now, they had about, from here to there, the remaining bolts. The whole store was empty. The whole store was empty. So you had to buy whatever remaining fabric was there, a bolt. So, but usually there's like 8 to 10 yards on a bolt, and some of them had been cut. And you took the bolt up and they would cut it for you, 90% off. So I got like the $14.99 fabric for backing, for whatever, for whatever. I got tons of it. I don't know, I got 100 yards for like $20 or something ridiculous. It was ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. I don't need fabric, but I couldn't pass it up. I had gotten this fabric here, and interesting, there's 7.5 yards of fabric right there. I mean, that's crazy, right? And a lovely, lovely package on one of my boards. So I just wanted to show you, I got this one there also. This is how it came off of the bolt. Now, again, I don't pre-wash my fabric. I've been sewing for 45 years. I've only ever had one mistake, and that was about 25 years ago. I used a red fabric that was ever so old, and it bled. I made something and it bled all over the place. It was a mess. That was totally my fault. Now I use them. I love my fabrics. I don't, fresh off from the fabric store. I like it fresh and crisp and clean. I don't have the time or the energy or the inclination to wash it. If I choose to wash a quilt afterwards, I use color catchers. I actually use Carvana color catchers. It's a microfiber color catcher. And I like them a little bit better than Shout. They catch an awfully lot of dye, if there's going to be any. And I've never had a mistake since. So that's another whole thing now. So this is my fabric that I just actually, I help the lady. You know, when I go to a fabric store, they cut, and I take the fabric and I fold it, because I'm like, people are waiting. So I just took it off of the table, and this is how I folded it. So this was 9 yards of fabric. What I'm gonna make a big king size quilt and back it with this lovely, lovely fabric. And this was their $14.99 fabric, which I'd never spend. But like, this is how it came, and this is how I was folding it. So this is 9 yards of fabric, right? So what I will do, I'll just show you. I'll just smooth it out and straighten it all out. I'm blessed to have this large table here. So it's sort of folded. This is a little bit thicker. And I'll fold this in half. This is my fold down here. Now this is 9 yards, approximately 9 yards of fabric. Folded and folded and folded, as you can see. Now, I'll take one board, and I do it about 6 inches, because it's a big package. And I just keep smoothing. You know me and smoothing and folding. Look at that, 9 yards of fabric on that little card. So my product review for these, I think they're wonderful. I really do. If you're serious and wanting to add, build up any kind of stash whatsoever, these shelves and these shelves here hold approximately 1 to 3.5, 4 yards. And if you've followed me, you know that this unit along here has all my big yardage, all my backing fabric. And other than I occasionally buy pre-cuts, which I do like. I like 10-inch squares, as you know. With 10-inch squares, that's another thing. But with 10-inch squares, you get the whole line of fabric. I could cut 10-inch squares, but I quite like, and it's a bit of a hassle, but I've done it. But I like prepackaged 10-inch squares, because you get the whole line of fabric from the designer. You get 40 or 30 different patterns of fabric. I like my 10-inch squares. That's how I do it over there. But for my yardage, I don't think these can be beat. Again, BCW comic book boards. I got mine from Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, free shipping. They're invaluable, or they're valuable, or yeah, invaluable. They're valuable. It's the same word. Invaluable, valuable, invaluable. That makes no sense. It's like flammable, right? And inflammable. Isn't that the same? Yeah. Anyway, I really like these. These are really good. So BCW, these are called silver. I don't know why they're called silver, because they're not silver. They're white. Worth their weight in gold. I love them. So anyway, that's my little product review today of my comic book boards. If you're serious, you want to get your stash built up, and you want to see what you have, so you don't have to go shopping all that much. I highly recommend them. Okay, thanks folks. Have a good day. Bye.